bills in large part to reduce the amount of tax evasion and criminal activity. And a lot of people might think the solution then would be, something like a cryptocurrency. But you actually addressed this in your book 2 years ago. Can you explain why you don't think Bitcoin is the solution to the $100 bill problem?
No, it's certainly, it is the solution if you're wanting to launder money or tax evasion. I think the government will eventually have to regulate it severely, and I think someday we'll issue its own digital currency. We have to remember the private sector invented standardized coinage, and then the government eventually regulated it, took it over. Different times, different places. Same thing with paper currency. Private sector invented it, government regulated, took it over. What makes you think it would be different? And the Bitcoin evangelists say, no, this is a libertarian, they will not touch us. I'm sorry, when it comes to the monetary system, the government makes the rules. You cannot win the game. If they're not winning, they will change the rules. That's what will happen here.
And is that what you think that 10 years from now it looks like? Is that cryptocurrency will exist, but that the government will have taken over?
Well, I think the government will have a much bigger hand in regulating. We will see a new generation that's used for transactions, but not anonymous transactions. That's where I think the government really has to step in. There's some great technologies here, but I think it's a little bit like with the internet, which they say, but it's a little bit like Internet 1.0. And we will see at some point a cryptocurrency 2.0, which is not crypto, it's not anonymous, but substitutes for debit cards, credit cards, cash, makes electronic transfers more secure. I think there are a lot of ideas out there. There are also a lot of people who are rushing to cash in on the craze and just trying to make money. We see it here in Davos. They've quite a presence.
And that might be a hard question to answer because it's hard to understand exactly where all the value in Bitcoin comes from, and it's already come down a lot. But how much of the value do you think will be lost if it loses anonymity and it loses its libertarianism?
So not the whole space, but Bitcoin in particular.
Yeah, but Bitcoin in particular.
I think it's much more likely to be worth $100 than $100,000 10 years from now. I don't think it's going to go to zero because there'll be places like North Korea, maybe even Russia, that, you have all sorts of financial sanctions on us. We're not benefiting from the system. We're going to let people launder money. So I don't think you're going to wipe it out. I think you will have governments use it, but in the mainstream governments, it's not going to be legal in banks. It's not going to be legal in retail transactions unless it's not anonymous. And Bitcoin, it's funny, just the energy that it uses, but it's the anonymity that's really the problem.